Hey, welcome back. I wanted to do another reading from the Scottish lore and folklore book that I have. This one's about Kelpies, which I think is going to be interesting. I mean, because the Kelpie is basically a evil seahorse, not a seahorse, but it's a horse from a bog. It'll explain more, but like that's kind of the vision I have is like an evil bog horse. So let's see. It says the Kelpie in particular is much in evidence today. Are there not people of all kinds flocking from the ends of the earth to the shores of Loch Ness? Was Loch Ness was the Loch Ness monster a Kelpie? It looked like a plesiosaurus. It didn't. It did. I don't think about Kelpies when I think about the Loch Ness monster. So I think that's interesting. But maybe because of this book was published in the early 80s. And I don't know when the pictures for I know they're in black and white, but I don't remember when they were published in the newspaper to show what it looked like. So maybe there's more there. Strange names are being given to the denizen or denizens, it may be, of Loch Ness. So saying there's more than one Loch Ness monster? It's multiple? Some there are who maintain that the disturber of Loch Ness is a shark or a whale or a seal that came up the Ness River on a flood and then found that it could not get back to sea, which happens a lot with lakes and locks and things like that. Things get stuck in there when it's high tide or there's a storm or God forbid a tornado or some sort of water spout spouts it out. I mean, that's how you end up with fish in lakes like that is birds drop them. They just get dropped in the lake and then they multiply. They prosper. Undeterred by predators. It said like so I totally think it probably started out from some form of a whale or a shark that ended up in there accidentally. But who really knows? Who knows? What nonsense. What nonsense the author says. Shark, whale, or seal? That is merely the matter of fact of attempt at an explanation made by ignorant scientists and other people who know better. I know better. Interesting. Ignorant scientist. Ignorant scientists. And other people who know no better. The ordinary folk who call it the Loch Ness Monster get much nearer to the truth. For a monster, it certainly is. I mean, could a shark not be a monster? I don't think you're giving sharks enough credit there, sir. Okay. No, I'm just an ignorant scientist. Um, but what kind of monster only the witches and the poets and other fae-like folk know? The Loch Ness Monster is, of course, no more and no less than an old-fashioned kelpie, a beastie of a kind that has been known all over Scotland for ages. For there is not a stretch of water in all the land that has not had, at some time or another, its kelpie, or its water horse, or each isage, as it is in the Gaelic. But it is not every Kelpie that has the conceit of the Kelpie of Loch Ness, entertaining press photographers and almost giving interviews like a film star. It is just by such methods as that the whole of the fairy business is likely to be ruined. And it is just by such methods as that the whole of the fairy business is likely to be ruined. from photographers are they saying that the Loch Ness monster is a fame-seeking Kelpie? Is that what I just read? So the less said about the impudent fellow in Loch Ness, the better. So it's like a secret. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about Bruno. No, no, no. And after all, and for all that can be definitely known, maybe he is being well paid for it by some of the people in Inverness. Is that the town that Loch Ness is in? In these hard times, even a Kelpie might do a lot for an old railway horse or a braxy sheep or two. But the others, the unbribable Kelpies, are dreaded beasts indeed. The real Kelpie, like his master the devil, can assume almost any shape he likes. Oh, that's right. I forgot that Kelpies can be shapeshifters. They shape their shift a little bit, don't they? Preferring, however, the shape of a beautiful horse, carefully groomed and exquisitely harnessed. In this shape, the Kelpie will stroll casually along beside its intended victim. The victim, not unnaturally, admiringly strokes the lovely and lonely creature, only to find that the hand that has touched the horse cannot be removed. And so the poor victim is dragged into the Kelpie's loch, there to be devoured. I had a yawn I was trying to get rid of without opening up. But I do remember that if you pet the Kelpie, it drags you down somehow. And I thought there were some interpretations or versions of it where you had to actually be on the Kelpie as a horse. Like the Kelpie is a horse, and you had to be on the horse in order for it to like drag you underneath. I thought that was the whole oh sorry. I thought that was the whole gimmick. In Sutherland, not so very long ago, there was a number of children playing beside a loch, when into their midst there came a beautiful and apparently ownerless horse. Apparently. One of the boys, calling to his playmates to follow his example, mounted the creature's back. Before long, there was a string of lads mounted. Oh, no. As many as ever the horse's back would hold, from its mane to its tail, and other boys there were hanging on to the beast in every lad-like way. But one boy there was who had heard about Kelpies and their ways, and as soon as he remembered, he tried to take his hand away. Because that was the other, that's a lot of kids trying to get on this darn horse. It's a lot of kids. Fortunately, the boy had the sense enough to recognize that the loss of a hand was as nothing compared with the loss of his life. So out came his knife and off came his hand. Oh, oh, I hate that. Oh. And no sooner was he free than up rose the Kelpie with fire and brimstone snorting from its nostrils, and high into the air it went, right over the loch and down into the waters, carrying its human load and the amputated hand with it, and never more were those boys seen again. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope, I don't like this. It is a relief to know that the clever boy was able to cauterize his poor bleeding stump on some of the fiery brimstone left behind by the Kelpie. And it is good to know, too, that it was his left hand that he lost and not his right. Interesting, because there are some cultures, a variety. Like I can't just say one or two. Like there is a variety, and I'm partial to think it's because most people are right-handed that the right hand is a very important hand, and like that is the worst hand to lose is the right hand because it's the hand you shake with. It's your dominant hand. It's the hand you write with. Oftentimes it's the hand you eat with. You don't want to lose your right hand. That's why they say right hand man is like your second in command. It's your best man. It's your right hand man. It's the one you don't want to lose. Um, so that he is still of some use about his father's croft. I don't know what that part means. Maybe they're just saying he's more useful if he still has his right hand versus his left. Was not where I was going with this, but they went there. It is not always, however, that the Kelpie comes as a horse, like the fairy seals. So those are silkies, the fairy seals. That the Kelpie comes as a horse. Oh, wait. Sometimes it comes in the shape of a handsome young man or a beautiful young woman. There was a lad in Badenoch, courted by a beautiful, strange young woman who permitted him all sorts of liberties. Oh, I can only imagine what that means. They weren't going to spell that one out, were they? But one night she forgot, and instead of laughing in her ecstasy, she neighed like a horse. Ooh, that. She neighed like a horse. Then did the lad know who and what his sweetheart was. What a moment. What a moment that would have been to experience. Fortunately for him, he was in the kilts and had his gyanda, I don't know what that is, in his stocking top. And when the lad had finished his work with the snyan, it was not a stabbed beauty that laid at his feet. So I'm going to guess this is like a knife, a traditional ceremonial type of knife, because it went with his kilt. He said he still had his kilt on. So I'm guessing it some sort of item on the kilt itself. So kilts, from my understanding, is going to be made of a fabric based on your family clan. So like the plaids, there's going to be a certain see, the words escape me this second, but it's like custom. It's a custom plaid basically to your clan. And there's a special word for it. And it's not coming to my brain. And I should know it. And the second I hear it, I will know what it is. But it is not this second that I know what that is. However, it was a great Kelpie covered in green lock slime that lay at his feet. And that, I think, is quite enough about Kelpies. See, even the author didn't even want to talk about Kelpies. I think he was disturbed by the hand story. But he had to say it. I don't know why he had to say it. I think it was to stress the importance of like, don't touch the Kelpie. Don't touch it. Strange horse walks up, don't touch it. Not yours. And I wonder if that's where it originated from. Because, theft and animals were such an important part. I mean, it is of now. Like, if it ain't your horse, horses were expensive. Horses are expensive, no matter what time period. Always has been. Always been expensive. Always hard to care for. Not yours, don't touch it. I wonder if that was the whole moral of the story, where that came from. Don't touch the horse. Well, that is the reading on Kelpies and some of my thoughts while reading. in this 1980s folklore book that I have become very interested in lately. Do you have any other thoughts or opinions or other things you'd like me to look into? Let me know. Um, I have become inspired because obviously you can tell I have some AI going. And I do love this lipstick. So I actually ordered a lip shade that matches the beautification. I think it's interesting. All right. Well, have a great day. And I hope you enjoy. This is the third video of this series. And I hope to do more. So please let me know what you want to hear. I don't want to be talking to myself on here all day. I'd much rather talk to other people about this. So please comment, follow, share, and let me know what you want me to read next. See ya.